What's going on, college basketball fans? It's your man, Stephen Bardo, coming at you with this week's edition of Bardo's Breakdown. You guys notice my marketing, my colors. You notice the colors? Y'all know why I do that? Because this is my school, y'all. Congratulations to the University of Illinois, Fighting Illini, Wisconsin Badgers, co-Big Ten champions. Wonderful season for both teams. Let's start with Wisconsin. Preseason picked 10th in the Big Ten Conference. And they have a National Player of the Year emerge in Johnny Davis, who, in my opinion, will probably – he's the front runner for the Big Ten Player of the Year. Preseason picked 10th, and yet they were able to overcome a lot of different things and find themselves co-Big Ten champions. I know they came in – they backed into the co-championship with a sour taste in their mouth. They lost on the last regular season game to Nebraska by 1 point. It was a wild game. So I know they would much rather be, solo champions, but it didn't turn out that way. So they lose. While I'm calling the Minnesota Northwestern game, Illinois and Iowa are going on. So consider this, ladies and gentlemen. The Big Ten Conference came down to the last game of the last minute of the regular season to decide whether Wisconsin was going to be sole share or there's going to be co-Big Ten champions. And just so have it, Chris Murray with a good look in the corner from three. If he hits it, Iowa wins by 1. He misses, Illinois wins, and they snatch a share of the Big Ten championship. So if that's not an indication of how competitive the conference was throughout the season and how things came down to the very end, I don't know what is. So big ups to the Fighting Illini and the Wisconsin Badgers. So I'm going to go through my Big Ten choices of the year, Coach of the Year, Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. Then I'll give you my first and second team, all Big Ten. We'll talk about the seeds, the top 4 seeds in the Big Ten tournament. And then I'll give you early games to watch that could be upsets or why they weigh more heavily than others. So let's get into it. My Big Ten Coach of the Year. Now, I said this on the air yesterday. I said it was Greg Gard because that was before our game. That was before Wisconsin lost. That was before Illinois won. So on my show, the Big Ten Coach of the Year is Brad Underwood of Illinois. If you really go back and look at what Illinois has done this year, it's even more incredible than what they did last season because they didn't have Kofi Cockburn at the beginning of the year. Andre Cabello missed about 2 months. They had injuries. They had illness. They had to overcome some things. And then consider this, guys. Let's go back to last year. Illinois should have been the regular season champions of the Big Ten, at least the share with Michigan, although they popped Michigan in a head-to-head. So for the last 2 years, the last 3 years, really, Illinois has more Big Ten wins than any other team in the conference. I don't think a lot of people know that. So my Big Ten Coach of the Year is Brad Underwood. I think he doesn't get enough credit. He doesn't toot his own horn. He goes to work. He's got these sayings, everyday guys that make him sound cliche-ish, but he's far from that. He's done an excellent job, and I'd make him my Big Ten Coach of the Year, Brad Underwood, Illinois. Big Ten Player of the Year is Johnny Davis from Wisconsin. Keegan Murray was right there. Kofi Cockburn from Illinois was right there, but Johnny Davis, I think the game at Purdue when he dropped 27 in the second half, and I believe Purdue was either second or third in the country at that time. And Johnny Davis came on and put on a clinic. Second highest point total in a game this season. I think the highest was Jamison Battle from Minnesota at Maryland. He dropped 39, but I think the second highest point total of the season was Johnny Davis in Wisconsin's victory at Purdue. So Johnny Davis is narrowly my Big Ten Player of the Year. Big Ten Freshman of the Year, I think this is pretty clear. Bryce McGowan's of Nebraska. He's been outstanding. although he didn't play, ironically, at Wisconsin yesterday, even though Nebraska was able to get the win, they were without who I think is their best player, Bryce McGowan, Big Ten Freshman of the Year from Nebraska. And the Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten is Trent Frazier. I know a lot of people thought that Caleb McConnell from Rutgers, he was right there in my book. But for me, it's Trent Frazier. He's been doing it from day one when Illinois was playing a very challenging schedule. Rutgers didn't play a challenging non-conference schedule. They lost to Lafayette, which was dragging their total net down. They lost to somebody in the mid 150s as well net. So Rutgers didn't have the schedule that Illinois had, and Trent Frazier has been dynamic throughout his career, but I thought he got the edge for Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. So Coach of the Year, Brad Underwood. Player of the Year, Johnny Davis from Wisconsin. Big Ten Freshman of the Year, Bryce McGowan, Nebraska. And Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, Trent Frazier at Illinois. Poppy Von Jojo, Ben George 52. Rayfeld Davis, what's up? Y'all check my boy Rayfeld Davis out on Big Ten Network. He's killing it. He's doing a great job in studio. And I guarantee if I were to have Rayfeld on the show with me, if I were to ask him from his first week to now, he is night and day. But Rayfeld does a great job. Thanks for joining, my man. I appreciate you. Adam, Randall Singer, Willis J82, L Terrell 73. Which Big Ten team will go furthest in the NCAA tournament? We'll get to that in a minute. Kenny Williams was good. Tara Lee Miller, what's happening? E. Wells 678. Johnny Fain, Carbondale's finest. What's happening? Richard Stanton 9. Good to see you. Good evening. Alex Spiels, Gailey Tucker, Donovan Lang. What's up, Donovan? Good to see you, brother. Gray Anthony 20. I hope I said that right. Zoomer Sports was good. So yeah, those are my Big Ten choices of the year. Let's get into first team and second team. My Big Ten all first team: Kofi Coburn, Illinois; Johnny Davis, Wisconsin; Jaden Ivey, Purdue; Keegan Murray of Iowa; and E.J. Liddell of Ohio State. If you look at this group of players right here, in my Big Ten all-team first team to begin the year, 2 players were on this list: Kofi Coburn and E.J. Liddell. Johnny Davis, Jaden Ivey, and Keegan Murray really have been outstanding. Really outstanding this year. So this is my first team, all Big Ten. My second team, all Big Ten: Jamison Battle, Minnesota; Hunter Dickinson, Michigan; Ron Harper Jr., Rutgers; Trace Jackson Davis, Indiana; and Zach Edey, Purdue. It's interesting. I had Travion Williams on my first team preseason. He doesn't even make first or second team, but Zach Edey from Purdue makes my second team. So it's Jamison Battle, Minnesota; Hunter Dickinson, Michigan; Ron Harper Jr., Rutgers; Trace Jackson Davis, Indiana; and Zach Edey, Purdue. Man, y'all give a shout out to my man Tony Gill, my executive producer. He throwing up these great graphics for this older group on Facebook that needs bigger fonts. I love it. Tony, you the best, bro. I love you, man. He's killing it. I want to get through these things first so then we can talk a little bit and I can get to your questions. The top 4 seeds in this week's Big Ten conference tournament. Number 1, Illinois got the number 1 seed. Even though they're the co-champions with Wisconsin, they get the number 1 seed because head-to-head, Illinois won that one. Wisconsin gets the number 2 seed. Purdue drops to number 3. And Rutgers, ladies and gentlemen, 3 weeks ago, people were not even thinking that Rutgers was going to be in the tournament. And now they're 4 seed in the Big Ten Conference Tournament. What a close for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights and Steve Peichel. Great job. So these are the top 4 seeds. So the reason I wanted to mention these top 4 seeds is that in the Big Ten Conference Tournament, the top 4 seeds get a double bye. That's critical because the conference tournament starts on Wednesday. So the lowest seeds, the lowest 4 seeds play on Wednesday. Whoever advances, they plug into Thursday. And for seeds 5 through the bottom, whoever shifts into those brackets will play on Thursday. I'll have the Kevin Kugler and I will be on the 1s and 2s, Big Ten Network, for the morning, the early sessions on Thursday and Friday. So I get a chance to cover the number 1 seed Illini on Friday. Thursday, I'll get to that in a second. I won't preempt what I'm doing here. But I wanted to show you that that's why teams that, like Penn State, Northwestern, Indiana, Michigan State, they were all battling hard to the very end because they want this favorable seeding. So it's very difficult to go from Wednesday to fight your way all the way through Sunday to the championship. That's a gauntlet. So if you can avoid even Wednesday or Thursday, you have a much better opportunity because now you've got to play 3 games as opposed to 4 with people who are seeded 5th through 10th. 5th through 10th, they have to start on Thursday. So not to say that none of those teams can win because Iowa, the number 5 seed, I believe it is. Yeah, Iowa's playing as well as anybody in the conference. Even though Illinois was able to hold on and beat them, Iowa's a dangerous team on a neutral floor. So that's why I want to give you the top 4 picks. Early games to watch. Now, I'm going to give you these early games to watch in the conference tournament. Pay attention. On Thursday, number 8 seed Michigan versus number 9 seed Indiana at 11:30 on Big Ten Network. Me and Kevin Kugler will have that one. That will be my first game of the conference tournament. Here's why that's important. Michigan and Indiana, depending on who you look at, it could be Mike DeCourcy, who does our bracketology with Big Ten Network and Fox Sports. You could look at Joe Lunardi at ESPN. You can look at Jerry Palm at CBS. Michigan and Indiana, depending on who you ask, are either first 4 in or last 4 in or first 4 out. So both of these teams are playing for their tournament lives, at-large bid. Now, if one of these teams goes through and wins the conference tournament, they get the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. But you don't want to have to win a gauntlet of a tournament to get into the NCAA tournament. So number 8 Indiana, number 8 Michigan versus number 9 Indiana. Keep this in mind. The tournament's in Indianapolis. So the Hoosiers will show up and show out. That's going to be a fantastic environment to see. I'm glad that I'm on the call for that with my main man, Kevin Kugler. So we'll be doing that. The other one is a potential matchup. It'll be the last game of that day. I think it'll be Penn State. I'm saying Penn State, number 11 seed. I have them advancing versus 6th seed Ohio State. Why is this important? Because Ohio State has come into this tournament limping. They're not in any danger of missing the tournament, but their seeding is dropping rapidly. So Penn State coming in, a very scrappy team, tough team to play against. Nobody in the conference likes to play Penn State because ask Illinois fans about that last Penn State game. Had them nervous, had them on pins and needles because, they played tough. Donovan Lane says Alonzo Verge Jr. didn't make second team. Come on, Bardo. What place it? I think. Let me look at the bracket, Landon. Okay, Nebraska had to have an unprecedented run at the end of the year to not have the last spot in the Big Ten Conference Tournament. Verge has played well. He's played well, but not consistently. Nebraska has not been consistent. Nebraska's hot right now, but they have not been consistent. So, no, Verge cannot be on the second team, and we can agree to disagree. I'm going to get into that in a second. And then here's my thoughts real quick, and then we'll get back. I'll get back to all your questions. Here's my thoughts real quick. The hottest team right now, even though they dropped the game at Illinois, I still think is Iowa. Playing extremely good basketball. Illinois is right there in the mix with hottest teams, as would be Wisconsin. Even though they dropped a 1-point victory, boy, they were 16. They were 16-0 before yesterday in games decided by 5 points or less, I believe. That's an incredible stat. So Wisconsin is going to be right there for a Big Ten Conference Tournament championship. So I like Iowa, I like Illinois, and I like Wisconsin coming in because, to me, they're playing the best basketball. I talked about the aforementioned Ohio State Buckeyes. They come in limping. They're banged up a little bit. Kyle Young missed last game. I think they had another perimeter interior player. He's really banged up. So Ohio State is really limping in. So watch them. And then Illinois continues a tremendous 3-year run in the Big Ten Conference. I'm telling you, Brad Underwood and the Illini have been very impressive. Last year, they won the Big Ten Conference Tournament Championship. I believe they beat Ohio State in the championship game. I would not be surprised to see them in the championship of this year's conference tournament as well. They have just put together an outstanding run and been the most consistent Big Ten program in the last 3 seasons. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, Tony, throw some good questions up. Let's get it. I'll do the Instagram. You throw up the Facebook stuff. Is Davis of Wisconsin going to miss games, says Curtis Dietz. If Johnny Davis is not showing bone, he's playing. What do I mean by that? The old football coaches say, if you ain't showing bone, you ain't hurt. Johnny Davis is a football player. So if his nose is hurt or his leg is hurt and he can move, he can get out of bed, he's going to play. I don't think that and Greg Gard in the post-game press conference said they were optimistic that they didn't think anything was going to linger from yesterday's game to Friday. Because remember now, Wisconsin's got a double bye. So they don't play until Friday. So that's a really good amount of time for those top 4 seeds, whoever's banged up in those top 4 seeds. You get today, you get tomorrow, you get Wednesday, then you got to go into game mode Thursday practice-wise, and then Friday you play the games. So you get Wisconsin and Johnny Davis will have ample time to heal up if he's banged up, right? So I expect him that he'll be fine, Curtis. Thanks for that question. Can the Illini run the Big Ten tourney without Granderson, says Stephen Gooch. I don't know that you want to try that. Granderson had been struggling a little bit with his shot, but he's really started to expand his game before he had that shoulder injury. And he's got that size, Stephen, that, at 6'7", he's so versatile. He can do so many different things that I would rather the Illini have a, somewhat relatively healthy group. Everybody's going to be banged up. Everybody's going to be nicked up. But I would hope that Granderson would be back because when he is, the Illini have the potential to make a deep run in this NCAA tournament. Adam Randall Singer says, which Big Ten team will go furthest in the NCAA tournament? I think Purdue or Illinois. I just think they have the size combination. They have the depth. They have the experience. Both teams have a sour taste in their mouths. Both Purdue and Illinois had early exits last year in the tournament. They've got some sour taste left in their mouths. I think Purdue has a sour taste left in their mouth because they were the front runner of the Big Ten Conference for most of the season. And then down the stretch had some timely losses. And the way the schedule shook out, they were really fatigued down the stretch because they had to jam games in. And so I think that those two teams, Purdue and Illinois, I think are the teams that have the potential to have the deepest runs in the NCAA tournament. What you got, Tony? Do you believe all conference teams should be done by positions? Point guard, 2 guards, small forward, power forward, and center, says Curtis Dietz. No, Curtis, I don't think that because to me, the game, starting with the Flying Illini back in 1989, that was positionless basketball. So we had the 5 best players on our team playing it, starting the game. And we were all kind of the same size. So in my all first and second team Big Ten teams, I go for the best players. I don't, regardless of position. Because if you looked at my preseason Big Ten squad, I had all big men. I had Kofi Coburn. Well, E.J. Liddell is kind of a hybrid, but I had Kofi Coburn, E.J. Liddell, Hunter Dickinson, Travion Williams, and who? Hunter. Oh, Trace Jackson Davis. So and I got criticized for that, and that's fine. But no, I don't think you need to go position. I just think you need to put the best players on there. That's what I do. Let me see what we got. Coach Dave Davis, what's up, Coach? Good to see you. What would be your surprise last four teams standing in the Big Ten Conference tournament? Who wins? As I look at the bracket right now, if I were to look at a surprise team, I would have Iowa breaking through to the semifinals, which wouldn't be a surprise because they are the number 5 seed. That's not out of the realm. I don't like the way Michigan State's playing right now. I don't like the way Ohio State's playing right now. If Michigan were in a different bracket than Illinois, I might say Michigan. But even if Michigan gets past Indiana, which is going to be a hell of a game, I don't see a Michigan team getting past Illinois. I don't see that. So I guess the surprise team, a non-top 4 seed that I would have advancing to the semifinals, could be an Iowa team. Because on a neutral floor, it wouldn't surprise me if Iowa, if they were to advance against the winner of Nebraska Northwestern, if they would beat Rutgers on a neutral floor. That wouldn't surprise me at all. So I hope that helps, Coach Davis. I always appreciate you, my man. Julian Darnell, your thoughts on the end of the Duke-UNC game involving the assistant coaches and Hubert Davis. Well, Julian, I don't know if you were on it was either last week or the week before. I went into a diatribe about the handshake line and why I thought that they should get rid of it. Because here's the deal. For those that don't know, Duke, North Carolina played the last game that Coach K was coaching in Cameron Indoor Arena. North Carolina spoils the party. They win the game. They have the handshake line. And Chris Carrawell and I believe Nolan Smith, also 2 assistants for Duke, they didn't shake Hubert Davis's hand. Now, here's the thing. Hubert Davis is the best human being on the planet. I know Hubert personally. He and I work together at ESPN. He is a stand-up of a man. He is as high character of a man as any coach in college basketball. I'll put him up with whoever you think has the most character in the game. That's Hubert Davis. And for Chris Carrawell and Nolan Smith, both black assistants, to not shake the hand of Hubert Davis, a black head coach, to me, off the top, that's an issue. That's my biggest issue, is that Chris Carrawell and Nolan Smith aspire to be where Hubert Davis is. Not necessarily at North Carolina, but they want a head coaching position. But you took whatever reason you had not to shake Hubert Davis's hand in a layup line. That doesn't show character at all. And that's on video. So when Chris Carrawell and Nolan Smith go for a job interview, somebody can pull that up immediately. And if you think that stuff doesn't matter, ladies and gentlemen, when you're trying to hire a person to represent a whole program, Brad Underwood represents the Illini Nation, which consists of the second largest alumni association in the world, with a school of 45,000 undergraduate students every single year. These are huge communities. And when you are trying to have a person represent your community and you're going to be petty and be like Tom Izzo said and like Brad Underwood said, when someone kicks you in your behind, be man enough to shake their hand, look them in the eye, and congratulate them. These are coaches. These weren't players, ladies and gentlemen. So all the problems we've had in the handshake lines, they've been dealing with adults, not the players. We've had issues with the adults in the handshake line, not the players. That's why you should get rid of that shit. Excuse my French. That's why you need to get rid of it. Because now we wouldn't be talking about it. But Julian Darnell, thank you very much. I appreciate you bringing that up because that's a a point that the NCAA needs to look at. Screw that sportsmanship garbage. It's garbage. I'm all for sportsmanship. That's not the place for it. That is not the place for it. I guarantee you, if I was to interview all of you all in your jobs and you just got your tail kicked, or you got a bad job review, or you got something like that, and you're supposed to go shake the person's hand, no. Don't ask young people and college basketball coaches to do what you wouldn't do yourselves. That's where I have the biggest issue. Because nowhere people have to shake their hand after they get beat, or there's heated rivalry going on, or you've been banging against somebody for 40 minutes, or you lost a recruiting battle with a coach that you're coaching against. It doesn't make sense. So what I heard, Julian, and I'll wrap it up because I want to get to other questions. What I heard, Julian, was that Chris Carrawell and Nolan Smith and the Duke staff was upset that North Carolina didn't do anything when Duke came to play North Carolina for Mike Krzyzewski's last time in the building. Think about that for a second. That's pomp and circumstance, right? That's North Carolina's arena and property. If they don't want to do nothing for Coach K, this wasn't Hubert Davis's last game coaching. Why should they do anything? Why should they do anything extra? I believe when Duke went to North Carolina to play, I think North Carolina was in question of getting an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament. So the last thing the Tar Heel fan nation wants to see, if your team is struggling, is you giving praise to Coach K while your own Tar Heels are battling for their lives. You see how silly that is? But these were adults that this happened to. So, Julian, thank you very much. Had to get that off my chest. Zoomer Sports, Andrew, what's going on, Andrew? On my way to NIU to cover Glenbard West, hopefully punching their ticket to Champaign for state championship. Good luck to Glenbard West. And Andrew doing his thing, man, with Zoomer Sports. Hunter Holly, do you think Nebraska could make some noise in the Big Ten tournament? Yes, they can, Hunter. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my young gun, my young boy. Me and Hunter do some things together. He's got a podcast. He's a high school basketball player at Marist High School here in Chicago. He comes from a wonderful family, wonderful young man. Hunter, I think they can make some noise. And I know Donovan Lang will be happy that you mentioned Nebraska because that his boy Alonzo Verge Jr., he thinks is getting slighted. Nebraska has to play Northwestern in the first matchup. I believe the way that Nebraska, as hot as they are, I think they can win that game. They would face Iowa next. Now, that's an uphill battle. But the way they've been playing, who knows? So Nebraska could make some noise. It's matchups. So if things were flipped, I could possibly see Michigan advancing a little bit, but not against Illinois. If they get past Indiana, they'd have to face Illinois. I don't see that happening. So the team that could make a little bit of noise, in my opinion, Hunter, and not be Sharpie, would be Nebraska. But I don't see, even if Nebraska were to advance past Northwestern and somehow advance past Iowa, they would face Rutgers. And I'm not sure Nebraska matches up very well with Rutgers. Matchup-wise, I think Rutgers could handle Nebraska pretty well in that matchup. Hope that helps. But thank you, my man. Joe Stovall, tribe member. If you want to be a member of the Inside Bardo's Breakdown group, go to Facebook, sign up on Bardo's Breakdown group, or text me to 312-847-2739. Joe Stovall, told you yesterday about the challenges of senior day. Winner of Indiana-Michigan game could be a giant killer in the Big Ten tournament. Last year, UCLA was the last four and made it to the Final Four. Does anyone in the Big Ten look like UCLA? Joe, you didn't have to tell me anything about senior day. I did senior day. I know what senior day is about. I cover senior day every year. I see these guys. I see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Senior day, players come out on the court, and what happens is it hits them. Like they're preparing for the last game, and yeah, I'm preparing for my last game. Yeah, I know. It doesn't hit them until their parents are there and they're walking on the floor, and all the years rush through their mind that fast. And I can see it. I saw it on Pete Nance's face yesterday. I saw it on Elijah Williams. I saw it on the Northwestern players' faces. It's an emotional day. So anybody that has a senior day, it's tough to overcome. So I already knew about that. Winner of Indiana-Michigan game could be a giant kill in Big Ten tournament. The winner of Indiana-Michigan would have to go through number 1 seed Illinois. And on 4 days rest, I don't see that. I don't care who it is, Indiana or Michigan. I don't see them beating Illinois in that Friday game. That first, what would that be? That'd be quarterfinal. I don't see them winning that. And I don't see anybody like a UCLA. Think about it. UCLA has 2 pros on their team, Johnny Juzang and Jaime Jaquez. I love Jaquez. I think he is a beast. So they had Jaime Jaquez, Johnny Juzang, Tiger Campbell, who's one of the better point guards in the country. I believe he's in the Bob Cousy finalists as top 5 point guards in the country. I don't see a team like that in the Big Ten that has the makeup of a UCLA, the toughness and the way that UCLA plays. I don't see a team like that in the Big Ten conference tournament. Let's see. What's your thoughts on IU's chances of making the NCAA tournament? M. Montel, 638. I think Indiana has to make some noise in this Big Ten conference tournament. I really do. The loser of Indiana, Michigan on Thursday, baby, they're going to be sweating because both of those teams depends on who you look at, their first 4 in or last 4 out right now. So the loser of that game is going to be sweating. And if Indiana were to win that game, I think Indiana needs a couple games at least to feel comfortable about their at-large chances. My team to watch is Michigan. Juwan coming back with the big fella. They will be galvanized and ready. That's a good point, Kenny Williams. I didn't forget about that, but when you think about that, Hunter Dickinson didn't play yesterday, and Michigan beat Ohio State. That was a big win for them. Michigan went 3-2 without Juwan Howard being on the sidelines. Phil Martelli did a hell of a job in picking up the mantle and help guide Michigan in their last 5 games of the regular season. So you're right. They're gonna be naturally up. They're gonna be naturally feel better about themselves with Juwan Howard coming back. And Hunter Dickinson missed yesterday's game. I think he had a stomach flu. There's a flu bug that's going around. It hit the Northwestern team a couple weeks ago or last week. It seems like it must be up in Michigan now. So that's something to watch out for because the flu bug is nasty. So that's a good question there. Both Kenny Williams and M. Montel, 638. Tara Lee Miller, what's up, Tara? Do you think Illini's game time will be any problem? Some Illini fans were complaining about an early start time. Man, when don't Illini fans complain about something? Shit. No, it won't be a problem. They'll be fine. Brad Underwood has had his team play in each of those slots in the Big Ten Conference tournament, and I haven't seen the Illini come out flat in a tournament situation under Brad Underwood. That won't be an issue. I don't think that'll be an issue. But thanks for that question, Tara. I appreciate it. I was thinking of the Flying Illini after yesterday's game. 88-89 was the last time there was such amazing energy at Assembly Hall, says Hotley or Hotel. I hope I'm saying that right. Man, I'm so mad. I'm not mad because I got paid to call Minnesota Northwestern, but I would have loved to have been in Assembly Hall / State Farm Arena yesterday because it looked amazing. I saw some social media clips. I was so happy for those guys and happy for the program. First time the Illini have won a Big Ten conference title, I believe in 15 to 17 years. I believe that's right. So it's a huge accomplishment for Brad Underwood, for his staff, for the players, for Josh Whitman, the athletic director, who had the vision to bring in Brad Underwood and saw what Brad could do. He had the vision to do that, and it's paying dividends for them. So congratulations to the University of Illinois, to the Illini Nation, the best fan base in college basketball. Don't hate everybody else. That's a fact. Twitter, the most engaged college basketball fan base. You might think it's Kentucky. It's the University of Illinois. So congratulations to the Illini Nation, the best fan base in college basketball. Let me see. I see one from both. Oh, okay. Nick Lamping. What's up, Nick? This is my man, fellow Illini. Bardo, I love me some Andre Cabello, but feel like every great play, there is 3 turnovers. Are you concerned with his role in the tourney? Nick, that's a great question. I am concerned with Andre Cabello. He just doesn't seem to be the player that we grew to watch and be mesmerized with his dynamic skills. He made one play yesterday, though, where he was coming up the floor. He went right, wrapped around left, reached out, and finished with his right hand on the left-hand side ahead of the defense. I was like, uh-oh, Andre Cabello may be back, but then he has the turnover issues. I think he's pressing so much. I am concerned with him. And think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Andre Cabello was thought of as a top 5-point guard entering this season. So the Illini basically did all this pretty much without Andre Cabello. The game that he went off, remember, ladies and gentlemen, was a double overtime loss at home to Purdue. That was his best game of the season. And they haven't had the Andre Cabello that they had last year, and yet they fought through and got a co-Big Ten title. So, yes, because to me, Nick, Andre Cabello can win you a game or two in the NCAA tournament. He's that dynamic. If he's locked in and he's on, he can break plays and do things and get the ball to Kofi Cockburn, unlike any of his teammates. So I am concerned, but if anybody can figure it out, it's Brad Underwood and his staff. All right, Nick, let's think about this for a second. Illinois in the offseason, Io goes to the NBA. There's rumors of Kofi Cockburn going to the NBA or going to Kentucky. There's rumors of Andre Cabello following the coaching staff, right? Chin Coleman. Why is his name escaping me? The other assistant. Golly. But anyway, these 2 dynamic assistants leave. And you're wondering, well, who's going to fill the void? So Illinois not only re-recruited Kofi Cockburn to come back, re-recruited Andre Cabello to come back, bring in Chester Frazier as an assistant, and bring in Tim. Golly, why am I drawing a blank? Tim Anderson from Chicago, DePaul. Brings them in, elevates Jeff Alexander to an assistant coaching position. They didn't lose a beat. Think about all that change and turnover on your staff. You lose. I don't care what anybody says. Ayo Dosunmu went 2nd round. He's a 1st rounder. He's up. He's in the mix for Rookie of the Year in the NBA. So you lose a 1st round pick, a dude that's killing it at the NBA level. Your big man is testing the waters. We don't know if he's coming back. He comes back. Andre Cabello's being talked about. He may not come back. He comes back. Oh, wow. What are we going to do with the coaching staff? And they make the necessary changes, and the Illini Nation is ecstatic. So, yes, I'm concerned with Cabello, Nick, but if there's anybody that can handle adversity, it's Brad Underwood and his staff. Great question. Do you think a mandatory 2 years of collegiate experience will pump new blood and interest into NCAA basketball? I don't know if it'll pump new interest. The interest is there, Donovan. It's really not going anywhere. There's overtime. There's a G League Elite. And those 2 programs in and of themselves pluck the top high school players, but not enough to really it makes a difference in college basketball. If you had Jonathan Kuminga, who went to the G League Elite and then went to Golden State, if he plays college basketball, he's a game changer. Jalen Green, those guys that went right to the NBA from the G League, that went from high school to the G League, those guys will make a difference on a college program. There's no doubt. So that hurts that there's not the marquee names, but still, I think the interest really hasn't waned for college basketball. And so I don't know if the NCAA is going to come up with that situation, Donovan, where they say, look, you can go right out of high school. I believe that's going to come up next year. You can go right out of high school, but if you choose to go to college, you got to stay 2 years. I think that would help the game. It would help the continuity of the game, and would help the players that go to college. It would help them to relax and not be looking at the next step. You know, look at the pretty co-eds that would be on campus like Kimberly Taylor, or, you know, the co-eds that we had at Illinois. That, you know, we had some pretty nice co-eds on campus. That's why you see the smile on my face. I met my wife on the campus. And so, you know, and I wasn't looking to leave early because I was enjoying my experience. So, yeah, I don't think the interest has waned, but I do think that would definitely help. Let's see. Charlie Deasy, what's good? STAT55, what's going on? Fugazi, what's happening? Lynn Holly is the mother of Hunter Holly. That family that I was talking about, that great family, that's his mother. So shout out to Lynn Holly and Hunter Holly. So happy that Nance got to 1,000 points. Pete Nance Jr. from Northwestern hit up. He got to 1,000 points on his career. A great young man. If I had a daughter, I'd be trying to introduce him. Seriously. Any update on Grandison's shoulder injury? I'm not certain. I think the Illini, they don't push guys back too early. So I think that he'll be fine come Big Ten Conference Tournament, but they were just making sure that he was going to be okay and not push him. O-City Chuck 080, good to see you. You got any more good ones here? I'll take a couple more before we wrap up because I don't want to keep my man Tony. He is a busy dude. Bo Singer says, how is Juwan Howard allowed to coach the Big Ten tournament? I thought they would suspend him for the remainder of the season, including tournaments. No, Bo, it was just for the rest of the regular season. 5-game suspension. He's able to come back in the Big Ten Conference tournament. And I'm glad he's able to come back. 5 games is enough. You know, we got past the scenario. Come back now. His team is fighting for their tournament lives. It's great to have him back. It's a great story, and it's all good. So good on that. Let me take one more. Thomas Dagley, what are your thoughts on Kofi going to the NBA? I don't see him playing that style of ball. Thomas, it's going to be interesting because the game has changed. And Kofi, you know, his strength for the Illini is closer to the bucket. Obviously, Brad Underwood knows what he's doing. You can't question his. I've questioned Brad's use of Kofi on the defensive end, but it doesn't work. I would like to see Kofi do different things to set him up for the next level, but it doesn't work in the Illini system. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Kofi's a first-team All-American. He's having great success at what he's doing. To change the success of what they're doing, to try to give him a leg up on a system that he might not even fit into, I don't know. So I think I agree with you. I think it would be Kofi would really have to alter his game to be able to stick. I think he can make an NBA roster, but for him to stick in the NBA, I think he'd really have to change his game. And, you know, when he was cutting down the nets yesterday, Illini fans were chanting 1 more year. And Kofi Cockburn said in a post-game press conference, he said, you know what? I almost started saying it too because I've loved my time here. So with NIL, name, image, and likeness, Kofi Cockburn ain't poor, y'all. He's making pretty good money in that NIL situation. So don't rule out the idea that Kofi comes back to college. Hunter Dickinson comes back to college. Trace Jackson Davis comes back to college. Don't rule that out. I will end on that. Harlem Mixtape, good to see you. Oh, he said he should stay one more year. Well, we'll see. He may want to go overseas and play. He may want to go to G League. Who knows? But we'll see. But come back. Look, Bardo's breakdown is going to be lit, y'all. I'm going to be all over this Big Ten tournament. So when I'm not calling games, I'm going to try to get sound bites from coaches, players, distinguished alums, and whatnot. So make sure you come back because I'll do game previews and they'll be quick. They're not going to be long like this. They're going to be quick hits, 5-10 minutes here or there, but I might go 5 times in a day. I might go 10, depending on who I get. So make sure you check in with Bardo's Breakdown because it's going to be lit, y'all, on Indy. All right? Thanks for joining. I appreciate you guys. If you want to be a part of the tribe, text me 312-847-2739 or go to Facebook, look up Bardo's Breakdown group. Join the group. It is really blown up here in the last month. There's over 1,000 people in that group. I'm loving it. I love having conversations and developing relationships with all of you all. All right? Thank you so much. Call your parents if they're still alive. Tell them that you love them. Reach out to your aunts, uncles, your loved ones. If you have children, bug the hell out of them because they love it. They're busy establishing their lives like mine are. I've got 2 men for sons. My son is texting me right now. He knows my show is about to wrap up. We're about to go kick it. There's nothing better than family, ladies and gentlemen. Family and friends. Reach out to your family. Reach out to your friends. Tell them that you love them and what they mean to you. It will brighten your day. I guarantee it. Have a great rest of your week. Check in with Bardo's Breakdown, y'all. The regular season's over. The conference tournament is here. And the NCAA tournament's right around the corner. Best time of year, y'all. Let's get it. Holla.